Firstly, a big welcome to all of you to our today's webinar session. Before we proceed ahead, I would like to thank all of you for taking out the time and joining the today's webinar. And coming along the subject, firstly, I would talk about the major context that we are going to cover in the today's webinar. That's going to be totally revolving around the concept of fashion industry. That's right now the most booming industry in the global market if we talk about. So as I talk about the subject for the today's webinar is going to be from a startup to unicorn. How can you earn? How can you grab 10x repeat purchases through an integrated approach? Integrated approach is the term you might have heard, you might not have heard. But in this webinar session, we'll let you know that why it is must to hear about this term, and you need to implement this approach in your business plans and the marketing strategies. Now, I'm so grateful to acknowledge my co-host Mihir, who's the content and the marketing strategist from Set Commerce Experts team. And this webinar has been long awaited because we have been talking about the integrated approach and the fashion industry since long. And today we are having this webinar. So in the today's webinar, we would be covering all the topics, which is going to talk about the fashion industry. Fashion industry is right now the most booming industry as we see globally. It is continuously transforming over the years, and I think that it is the most profound. The rate at which it is evolving is just highly considerable. So let's move ahead with the next slide and let's come along the agenda of the today's webinar. So I'll just cover the points one by one, and then Mihir, I would request you to start with the context of the integrated approach, and let's talk to our audience over this topic. So firstly, we will talk about the fashion industry, how it is transforming over the years, and how profoundly it is creating the impact over the e-commerce industry and the vice versa as well. Next, we will talk about the statistics and the trends that will show you that how the fashion industry is evolving over the years and what are the top challenges, no doubt, because fashion industry is continuously the booming industry right now, and definitely it is going to have the obstacles and the challenges which merchants are facing right now in the industry. Then we would have a talk about an integrated approach, which is going to be an all-in-one solution. And this is the topic for which I am quite excited to talk in the today's webinar and address all of you with the solutions. At the end, we would have a Q&A session. So in the Q&A session, we would acknowledge all your queries and the questions that we would be glad to answer and provide you the solutions that can help you combat your business challenges. So now, Mihir, I would request you to cover the topic, which is fashion industry. Firstly, give the audience about the insights by which you can, tell them how the fashion industry is evolving and why they actually need to understand about the integrated approach and how it is going to impact their business goals.
Sure, Rishti. Thank you so much. What a lovely introduction amongst lovely audience. So let me start off with the entire overview of fashion industry. But to understand fashion industry, I'd just like to resonate with an example that see, fashion industry is nothing but a very basic and something which we can relate to it on daily basis. Like it's all about shopping clothes online, and when we shop for clothes, see, clothing is a basic necessity. So at no point of time, this industry will face a downwards trend. It is poised to grow upwards in the upwards direction, not only this year, next year, and in the coming time. So at any point of time, if you were to take my opinion, fashion industry is growing industry. It was growing industry. It is growing industry, and in the coming time, it will be, growing industry only. So as you guys can see in this slide, there are some facts about this fashion industry. So how big this is, like it is a $1 trillion industry, and understand the fact that people are shopping for clothes like crazy. Some are shopping for their basic needs, some are shopping just to stay up to date with fashion trends, whereas some are shopping for various occasions. But all in all, people are shopping for clothes online, and this is why it's a $1 trillion industry. Also, one thing today, we all know this term called fast fashion, and then there are brands like Zara, H&M, who are introducing this fast fashion trend, where a particular piece of fashion might last long, like maybe 1 or 2 months. So yeah, this is a huge contributor between this $1 trillion industry. And one astounding fact that I came across, thanks so much to Drishti, that she brought this thing up, that fashion industry alone contributes 2% of global GDP. I mean, this is a huge thing for this industry. I had no idea about it, and I'm still, surprised about it. 2% GDP, world GDP is a lot. So this industry is huge. I mean, it's quite huge. Then, see, if you were to talk about industry, then entry and exit barriers are something that one needs to know about. If if you're a fashion enthusiast, if you're a fashion retailer enthusiast. So let me be very honest with you that if you're a fashion merchant, if you're a fashion enthusiast, then entering this industry won't be a very big issue, because 3000 billion merchants on almost daily basis, big and small, are entering this trade, and these guys are skating from startup to a unicorn. And this path is not easy, but then there are lots and lots of people like who are shopping online, lots and lots of people. Then if I was to talk about largest segment, see, United States happens to be the country where a lot of fashion shopping happens online, and ladies segment is the most biggest segment if in apparels industry. So I mean, this was the general overview of fashion industry, but all in all, each and every fact simply suggests that fashion industry is big and it will be big.
And I think when you told about the fact, Mahir, 3,000 billion companies based on fashion industry are continuously adding it up in the market on the daily basis. Means it's a data per day. This clearly shows me 3,000 billion companies are adding up. This clearly shows if we talk about the next, if we even predict for the next 7 to 8 years, it is definitely going to, just voluminize this trend. The fashion industry is really booming, and definitely the merchants are, it clearly shows this complete statistics that you told, it clearly shows the preference of the merchants also towards this segment.
Right.
So thank you so much, Mihir, for giving the statistics and the trends on the fashion industry. And this trend is something which is worth exploring. And as a merchant and a business owner, even if it is your startup or established business, you definitely need to acknowledge these statistics and plan your business strategies in accordance with that. Now let's move to the next topic, and I think this is one of the most important factor that we need to talk about. That is the challenges. So, Mir, as we talked about, like fashion industry is something which is, yes, the most profound industry which is continuously booming. So, no doubt, merchants are yes facing a lot of challenges when it comes to setting up their store or planning how to scale up the business goals, or how they can exactly make their brand the first choice of the customers. They are facing a lot of challenges. And when I studied about that, and when I went through the survey that has been there are uncountable number of challenges that merchants are facing right now. First, that is dominating completely is the high frequency of change in the shopping behavior. If I tell about the reports, then around 60% of the customers, be if you pick up the data from any of the country worldwide, around 40 to 60% of the customers are preferring to do the online shopping, be it their household products, be it the fashion related products, or be it groceries. And post COVID, this number has actually just shooted up. Next is the biggest challenge that we are having is inflation in the e-commerce. No doubt, post COVID, there is a great inflation that merchants are seeing, and around I think 70 to 80% of the merchants are preferring to set up their business online. There is no doubt in saying that around 80% of the merchants have faced the challenges if they were having the physical stores or they were having their startups. But then they switched to the e-commerce, and definitely they were able to combat the challenges. Being the merchant, you definitely need to acknowledge the fact. And if I tell you the reports, by 2023, India's economy, India's e-commerce market, if I talk about the India's e-commerce market itself, it is going to gain 350 US billion dollars by 2030. Can you imagine? This is 2023, and within 7 years, this is a prediction. So, for the next 20 years, you can just predict the profound transformation this industry is going to have. And this inflation is in e-commerce clearly shows that merchants definitely need to plan their business strategies in such a way that they are yes able to empower their business, stand ahead in the competition. The next challenge is hyper localization. Being a merchant, you definitely want your customer to make your product their first choice, be it your product, be it your services, be it the solution, be it the support that your company or the brand gives to your customers. Now, hyper localization is something that defines to what extent you are providing the customers what they exactly want. So, the biggest example of hyper localization, if I tell you the instance, for example, if you are running a web store, right, in one country, and you're also hosting that online store in the different countries where your customers are there. Now, if your customer is visiting your web store, that is, for example, in only one language, but as a customer, if they are not able to visit your online store in their native language, even though your website is having a great UI UX, your website is having all technologies like live selling, everything, but if this prerequisite is not there, or if this basic thing is not there, your customer is even not going to take microsecond to just switch to the next options. Customers are very intellectual, they have multiple options out there in the market. It depends on you how you are acknowledging this challenge of hyper localization, how you are concerned about that, and how you are planning your business strategies in according to that. Next challenge is the sustainability. Sustainability is the biggest challenge the merchants are facing right now, and as a business owner, for example, if I tell you the facts and the figures, I was just shocked when I studied about and when I came across the survey. Around 5 lakh million tons of microfibers are releasing in the ocean every year from the fashion industry. Can you imagine this number?
Is
Which means,
huge.
yes, over the
Huge.
transformation. Yes, Neve.
It's so huge. Crazy
Yes,
fact.
so I think that yes, if any industry is evolving, if any industry is booming, definitely it is going to create a challenge, and this sustainability issues is directly impacting the environmental aspects. So, as a merchant, it's very important that whatever you are doing related to your business plans. Now, let's say, for example, you are creating something which is related to the fashion industry. The most important thing is that what can you do to overcome this challenge of sustainability? You can opt the sustainable products for designing, and the when you create the pattern for the designs, be it your textile or be it your any product which is related to the fashion domain, you can opt for the sustainable products. Try to minimize the waste which your industry is definitely giving out, so that you can also help your industry groom up, and you can also combat the challenges that is no doubt impacting the environmental aspects. So yes, this is one of the biggest challenge the merchants are facing in the fashion industry. Last but not the least, I think trust of customer is something that every merchant would love to have, even if they are starting with the online store. If the customer is not able to build that connection, that captivation with your online store or industry, every of your strategy is going to just end up. You're going to have a great drop off. And right now, yes, it is happening. Even though you're having the great UI UX design, even if you are providing the great content over your online store, even if you have established the great checkout journey, but for example, as a customer, your customer went to your online store. For example, they just went into the home page where you have listed all the products, collections, the categories. But as a customer, I'm not able to find the CTA buttons that can take me to the next page of that online store. I will quickly switch to the another option. I will just, if it is an app, I will uninstall the app. If it is a web store, I'll quickly move to the next app. And this is completely the factor which is called distrust. So the most leading factor which is leading to the distrust of the customers is the bad shopping experience your web store is giving to the customers. So these are one of the top challenges that as a merchant and as the business owner you definitely need to acknowledge and plan your business goals accordingly. Now we come to the integrated approach. And now, Mihir, I would request you to address our audience and the merchants about this integrated marketing approach and how it is going to be the biggest game changer for them and help them combat with the challenges.
Sure thing. Amazing facts over there, Drishti. I mean, crazy facts. I'm a fan. But anyways, coming back to this integrated approach. See, integrated approach has no particular definition. I won't be able to give you that. But let's just understand what is this integration approach through an example. Let's say you just entered this restaurant and there's this buffet menu over there. You have a plate in your hand, and in front of you there are 10 dishes. Out of those 10 dishes, 5 dishes you love, those 5 dishes, and then there are 2 to 3 dishes that you may or may not give it a try, and then there is a 1 or 2 dishes which you don't prefer at all. I mean, you're not used to have those dishes. What are you going to do? You want to fill your stomach, but then at the same time you want to get the taste as well. So what are you going to do? You will definitely start filling your plate with the dishes that you love the most, and then slowly and gradually, when you've got the taste, you'll move on to the dishes that you would want to try. And then later on, when you know that this particular dish is not something that I would give it a try. Why? Because firstly, your stomach has already been filled. You've already been, you've had that food, and then there's no point of picking a dish which is not, which is not up to you, which is not up to the mark. This platter, this plate that you have in your hand, is your business, and those dishes are nothing but the channels that are available in front of you. So this is the integrated approach. I mean, I might not able to give you the perfect example, but I mean, this was the best that I could give. So coming back, what should an integrated approach be like? So coming to the very first point, see, we all are into e-commerce, and the very first thing that e-commerce requires is to have a storefront. But to have a dynamic and adaptable storefront, now it's easier said than done. Why? Because there are lots and lots of platforms on which you can build up your storefront. But what about its speed? What about its performance? What about its adaptability? And what about its responsiveness? There's this fact that 85% of users will exit, like 85% of users will exit without thinking twice your storefront loads if it takes more than 2 seconds to load. Like if your storefront is loading, it's taking more than 2 seconds, then I mean it's good for nothing. So speed is important. Then you have no idea your target audience is shopping from which screen. Is it the big screen, the laptop, or the tablet, or is it the small screen, the mobile phone? But in either of the cases, you need to be ready. If your storefront is not adaptable to screen size, then I'm pretty sure that there'll be a lot of bounce rates that you will be tackling with. There'll be a lot of abandoned carts over there. So yes, you need to have not only e-commerce storefront, you need to have an adaptable and a dynamic storefront. Now that you have a storefront, what next? You need to search and research about the various channels that are available to you. As I said previously, you have a plate, you have your very first dish on your plate. But will that one single dish will cater the taste buds in you when you know that there are 10 other dishes that you can try? Definitely no. I mean, I'm a foodie. I will say definitely no, because I want to try those 9 dishes as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, yes, when you have your storefront ready, what next? You need to search and research about the various channels available, and followed by Drishti. Next slide, please. Over here, once you have figured out, okay, these all are the set of channels available for me. Now it is the time to pick those channels and enter those channels. What kind of channels? There are global marketplaces. Global marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart, Catch, Frugo. There are lots and lots of names. I mean, there are so many names that I have forgotten those names. I mean, apologies for that. But yes, all in all, once you have a storefront ready, now you need to think of, you know, going to social media, establishing a presence, followed by picking the set of online marketplaces, followed by having your native mobile app. Why mobile app is important? Because as I said previously, you never know what kind of customers are shopping. They might be totally into mobile phones. They might not just open the browser. They don't have time to open the browser. They would definitely prefer a mobile app. And to retain customers, mobile app is a must. You can look at various examples. Nika started off with a website, but now these guys have an app. Bewakoof started with a website. Now these guys have an app. Amazon started with a website. They have an app. Why? Because a lot of customers, if you want to retain them, you need to have a mobile app. Another fact, it's my personal experience that whenever I shop online, whenever I shop for clothes online, precisely for clothes, I don't search it on Google. I search it on Amazon app. I don't know why, but then for me, searching for clothes online, Amazon's app is the search engine for me. So I'm pretty sure there must be more
All
people
in
like
all,
me.
it's very important, Mihir. Means I would definitely agree with your point when you talked about multi-channel. Once you decide how you are going to definitely leverage the presence of your products and services in the market, it's very important to go multi-channel, be it any platform, which is the right fit for your business as per your business goals. And yes, mobile commerce is also one of the most trending platform for grooming up your business results and scale up your marketing goals.
So next is develop a comprehensive, effective marketing plan. Why do you need to do this? Because you, at this point, you not only have a storefront, you have a social media presence, followed by you have your listings on marketplaces, followed by you have a mobile app, followed by you'll be sending emails to your customers, to your target audience, followed by you'll be sending SMSs to your prospective audience. Now, you can't commit one thing in your storefront, and you can't commit ABCD in your storefront, and you can't commit XYZ in your other modes of channels. And why do you need to develop a comprehensive marketing plan? Because you need to understand the funneling as well: top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. If your set of audiences, you know that these guys are in the awareness stage, top of the funnel, you need to create awareness campaigns. If these guys are in the bottom of the funnel, you need to be very crisp, concise, and clear with your product offering and with everything else. So creating an effective plan is the need of the hour. And 60% of the brands consider content marketing to be very significant part of marketing plan. And on the internet, everything is about content and data. Everything revolves around content and data. Now, the content might be still imagery or written piece of content or motion. I'm not getting into the intricacies of it, but at the end of the day, content marketing is like it is the king. We all know that content is king, but at the same time, data is the queen. So you need to abide to king and queen and create a marketing plan, effective marketing plan. Yeah, next slide, please.
Sure.
Coordinate with, okay, this is my favorite slide. Why? Because there's this
And
term.
favorite topic as well.
Yes. So there's this term, smarketing. And smarketing has been derived from two words, sales and marketing. A careful blend of selling strategy along with marketing is called smarketing. And today's world, I mean, okay, social commerce is worth billions. It's worth billions. It might be trillions, but then to be at a safe side, I'm saying billions. Yes, social commerce is worth billions, but at the same time, how many times do you guys see or come across a profile that is directly selling products? I mean, if I come across this such kind of a profile, I'll be reluctant to interact with them because these guys are just out there selling products. But if I'm selling it in a way that is hooking, that is adds value, and that is that the things that I can see and I can see it again tomorrow are the kind of a campaigns that works more at this point of time. Gone are the days when you would just list a product and you would just go on selling them. That's not the right time, and this is not the right approach to do that. So you need to have selling strategies as well as marketing campaigns in one sync. So this you need to figure it out. There is again not no perfect definition of marketing, and there is no perfect formula for marketing. Based on your business, based on your target audience, based on your product, and based on your data that you fetched so far, you'll be creating those campaigns all by yourself. And then once again, okay, I won't. Last slide will answer this thing I was about to say, but then his last slide.
That's what I was about to tell you. And yes, marketing is definitely the most fascinating topic out of all integrated marketing approach. And yes, we can move to the next slide, Mihir.
Cool. The last slide happens to be nothing but whatever you've done so far, from first step to the fifth step. You need to evaluate, re-evaluate, read, reread, observe, and then implement things again. The mark of a true entrepreneur is something who is driven by curiosity, who has a knack for learning. And someone who has a knack for learning is like who's always observant, who is always, reading things around him. And when you have a business in front of you, you must be having data. You must be having things to read on. So you need to read out the data. You need to figure out what's in for you, what's out for you, and then you need to work out on those things. So this part is the most important part for an integrated approach. I mean, if you would think that I'll be doing 1 2 3 4 5 dedicatedly, and I won't evaluate, because see, I have done first to five things, but I'm not gonna evaluate. That's where maybe we're going wrong. So mark of a true entrepreneur and a marketer is like these guys read and reread data so much, so badly, that these guys are perfect in their strategies. And as a merchant, you guys need to do the same. So this was about this integrated approach, and then I, pass on my stuff to Drishti. Drishti will be explaining what
Thank you
you
so much.
is about.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so thank you so much, Mihir, for giving the great, I would say, the great session over the overall concept of integrated approach to marketing. Because it's very important when it for a merchant as a business owner, you definitely need to acknowledge the fact that Mihir told, right from setting up the online store and to the journey when your customer is actually satisfied with your brand is something that is going to give them a strong reason why they have to stick with your brand for long, why they have to come to you again and again, why they have to choose your brand as their first choice over the hundred of options they are able to find in the market. So even if you are setting up your online store, be it any platform like Shopify, it can be Etsy, Amazon, whatever it is, based on your business goals, it's very important that you are evaluating, auditing, revamping the each and every element of your business at a regular interval of time, and that's what is going to keep you ahead of the competition, and it is going to keep you streamlined with the advancements, with the changes, with the evolution that's happening, and ultimately it is going to help your customers retained with you, come back to you again and again, and yes, your business goals are going to definitely boom like the fashion industry is doing right now. So yes, let's move to the next slide, which is Q&A, the most interesting session and the part of this webinar. And now Mihir and me would like to acknowledge the questions from our audience. Let's put up the acknowledgement on the questions one by one, and we would be glad to answer your queries.
Cool. So there's this question, Drishti. I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to take this up. So the question by Jaswinder ji is, how can redoing campaigns help in achieving targeted goals? Can you give some examples?
Redoing campaigns. I think when it comes to the redoing campaigns, a very basic example I would acknowledge to all the merchants and the people who have joined with us is that, see, when it comes to the redoing of campaigns, the term itself says redoing. When you undo the things, you know what happens. Redoing is that, for example, if you are setting up an ad campaign, for example, if you're setting up the video for your ad campaign, at one instance, the first time when you schedule the video ad campaign, and you must have definitely set up some goals out of that campaign, you might have achieved that, you might not have achieved that. But it's not important that your ad campaign is not worth it. Let's try for retargeting, and let's put that on the recampaigning, and definitely it is going to create the impact on your customers. See, it happens as a customer or as a user. Whenever we also visit any platform or we see some ad, definitely it happens, we skip the ads, we just skip the campaign, but that same campaign or same ad is going to come in front of your eye again and again. At one point of time, at one instant of time, you would definitely like to give few seconds and acknowledge that. So it is going to definitely help you give the results. The most crucial part, that would be the root point of your campaign, would be what content you are putting up there, what value the user is going to derive out of that, and how it is going to help them solve their pain points and overcome their challenge, is what going to make your redoing of campaigns a successful targeting. So definitely, all in all, as Mihir told, content is the queen. Content is the queen. Yes, it is going to be implemented on all the platforms. So yes, content is going to play the major role, even if it is related to your redoing of campaigns, even if it is related to your retargeting of campaigns, or you are rescheduling the campaigns based on your targets. Yes, Neer. So
Okay.
one question I have, and I think I would definitely take the help from you to answer this question. So the question from one of the attendees, that he is quite fascinated about. I'm quite fascinated about the paid advertising which I'm seeing in the market, and I am having the web store on the Shopify, but I'm having right now the challenge of low budget. How can I scale up the business results that I'm targeting? What solution would you prefer? Yes,
See,
paid
if you,
advertising. If we talk about me here, yes, I would request you to start with this answer.
hmm. See, if you are a fashion enthusiast, then I would simply say that if you have a tight budget, start with influencer marketing campaigns. Start with influencer marketing. Why? Because, and if I was to say influencer marketing, reach out to micro influencers. Why? Because micro influencers have a more refined audience, and micro influencers charge less as compared to macro influencers. First thing. And secondly, because see, it's a fashion industry, everybody likes to see the kind of apparels that people wear. If I'm wearing this shirt, people don't compliment me, they compliment this shirt that I'm wearing. So you need to have a humanly figure in front of you that can portray that the kind of clothes that I'm wearing are the sexiest in town. So influencer marketing is the thing for you. But if you want to go for paid marketing campaigns, then I would simply suggest you to do a thorough keyword research, and instead of you picking high volume and high competitive keywords, I would suggest you to pick the kind of keywords that are low on competency level and that have mediocre search volume. This way, you'll be able to save your dollars. And secondly, one thing that I would say, that you need to choose the platform on which you're running ad campaigns very wisely when you have a tight budget. Like, let's say you have
Yes.
four channels in front of you, but then you have a tight budget. So instead of you allotting your budget to those four separate channels, pick up your budget, pick up a channel on which you think is the strongest for your business, and then go full throttle on it. If you want to go for
Correct.
paid.
And I think when it comes to paid advertising, it is yes the most fascinating options for the merchants when they look for the solutions on the in the market, and when they get the huge search results. So Mihir, I think paid advertising has also got the different branches out of which merchant need to select that according to their budget. What is that solution which is the right fit solution for their specific business problem? So yes, and besides paid marketing, I think the second approach that they can go if they are, having the problem of budget, is that you can go for organic campaigns. Now, this organic campaigns would include everything related to content marketing, going for social media campaigns, going for videos marketing, and all in all, content would play the most important role on each and every platform. Whether they are helping customers or whether they are exactly getting what they were looking for, it shouldn't be there that they are visiting your online store, and it is for which they have come along. So yes, organic campaigns is also the another approach that you can take as an alternative to the paid advertising with the low budget. So it completely depends on your preferences. Both the approaches are best for your problem that you can prefer. Now, Mihir, next question we are having is, While talking about the fashion industry, which e-commerce model is the best approach? It is B2B, B2C, why, or why labeling?
Cool. Uh, this question is
Yes.
the
So I
most
would ask
crazy.
you me to answer this query.
Sure thing, sure thing. Like it's the most craziest question I've come across,
Yes,
and it's a lovely question. Firstly, now, uh, B
it's
two
the
B,
biggest.
B two B,
Yes.
cool. B2B, B2C, or white labeling product. I am pretty sure you've heard about companies like Beardo, Bombay Shaving Company, The Man Company. If I'm not wrong, these companies are white label. These guys are into white label products. I'll not say that. See, white labeling is in, B2B and B2C are out. Why? Because there's huge demand of print on demand for B2B. There are corporates that are in huge demand to have branded t-shirts, a t-shirt on which their brand on which their logo is there. So B2B also has huge scope, and B2C, I don't need to talk much about B2C. However, if you don't have a product with you, let's be very honest, if you don't have an article with you, you need to, I guess, white labeling is the right approach for you. But if you have a product with you and you want to sell it, then start off with B2C and then slowly and steadily spread your wings in the B2C wing. So I mean, yes, I mean, it depends all on your product on a very serious note, whether it's B2B, B2C, or white labeling. So there's no exact answer to it, but it's a lovely question. Why? Because I don't know why it's a lovely question, but then I like this question. I'm gonna search and research about it more. Like, what is the precise answer for it? But this is as far as my knowledge is to be concerned.
Yes, I think it can be also the next topic of our next webinar session that we would
Exactly.
be coming up.
Exactly.
So yes, so these are the questions from our audience, and it's lovely to see that definitely we are able to help them get the solution to their queries. So yeah, now let's come to the
Answered all those
conclusion.
questions? Have we answered all the questions?
I think yes, we have covered. Let me check if we have more such questions. Um, okay, one question is there, Mihir. Let's take this also. Uh, when it comes to the integrated approach, what are the
Mhm.
best resources you guys would recommend to explore through, since I'm starting up my business and planning to choose for Shopify for setting up the online store? How can I actually start with the integrated approach? How can I implement? I think this is about the implementation of the approach, or merchant wants to know how, what exactly is going to be the starter point if they are landing into this domain of integrated approach to marketing.
Sure
A
thing.
very very nice question.
Yes, it is indeed. Okay, so starting off with, oh, when you want to build your e-commerce store, I would suggest, it's my personal thing, go for Shopify. Why? Because Shopify has entire universe in it. Whatever you need whatever you need to build your store, to scale it up, to market it, and to go for international commerce, it has things in it. Like you don't need to go anywhere outside Shopify. So when you want to build your e-commerce store, go with Shopify. Followed by
Yes.
what kind of social media? See, social media has no set tool, but when you're like trying to schedule your posts, go for Sprout Social. It's a nice software and it'll save a lot of time. So it'll save you like it'll if you want to go for social media management for your brand, Sprout Social is the right tool. Followed by marketplaces. Set Commerce has great integration apps which you can just check it out, and then you can just start selling on those marketplaces of your choice. Followed
True.
by, if you want to build your mobile app, there is Major Native for you. And I mean, I'll not say these are the tools. No, not at all. These are not tools. I'll say these are
Recommendations.
tools. These are the,
Recommendations.
yeah. I mean, for me, these like Shopify, Set Commerce, Major Native, these are not tools. These are experts for you who'll always be there for you.
And yes,
So,
we.
yeah,
Yeah,
please,
yeah,
Rishit,
you can
go ahead.
continue.
I'm done answering. Like in
Okay.
3 words, I can just sum up this answer: Shopify, said commerce experts, and then Major Native, and then said commerce again.
Yes. So I think, Meher, when you talk about the solution to this particular question, I would means we should definitely say when merchants want to know that which platform they need to start with, which approach that they would need to start with. It ultimately depends on their business goals, what objectives they are having, and they can select out of them. These were the recommendations, and I think the merchants exactly face the problem when it is about picking one solution from thousands of solutions that they have in front of their eyes. So I think your this answer to this particular query by the attendee is definitely going to help them get the solution to their problem. So now it's the time to conclude with this webinar session. Thank you so much, Mihi, for giving your great insights on the integrated approach. Ultimately, it was a great session on this new concept. That is definitely going to be a game changer for the merchants if they are actually implementing in their business goals. It is going to help their customers come to them again and again. It is going to help them build a great relationship. It is going to help them, attain a strong customer retention and definitely the long lasting business results. So yes, let's come to the last slide, and definitely this shouldn't be the last. This should be the beginning of our next webinar sessions that we would be coming up. And last but not the least, I would definitely say the line that your anytime query is going to be our all-time priority, right, Meher? Let's end up this webinar, and I would
This was
request you to give the overview lines and end up this webinar session and let our audience wrap up.
cool. I don't have much to say because we've already covered our part. Now, I just have one thing for all those merchants out there that do take risks, go big. Don't be afraid to, start your business, and don't be afraid to scale it up, and then don't be afraid to reach out for help. You can't do everything on your own. On a very serious note, see, you're a merchant and you're an entrepreneur. You'll be very much focused to, prioritizing your product. You'll be very much focused to developing your product or the article, let's say. So instead of you falling into the trap of intricacies of building an online store, increasing its speed, building your mobile app, all that stuff, no, just be very much focused on approach, just be very much focused on your product, and leave everything else to a few names that I've mentioned. I'm not going to name it again. I'm pretty sure that you must be remembering those names, and then come back to us, and then that's how we'll be sorting things out. Anyways,
Yeah.
all the very best to you guys. You are lovely audience. I mean, definitely you were lovely previously, but then you are more lovely right now. Thank you so much for listening to me and Drishti. I don't have anything else to say. Drishti, please take things forward.
Thank you so much, Meher. And it was a great session with you. I really felt opportunistic to do this webinar session. And
Nice,
thanks
like
to all our thanks to all our audience for this webinar session. It was a great pleasure to have your presence. We'll be coming up with a back-to-back webinar, so stay tuned with us and stay happier. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
have a nice day, all. Lovely session, guys. Bye.